Welcome to the Outside Show, a pretty good show about all things outside. So, what is this? Our producers want us to tell you that we'll be covering the latest news, events, and competitions, and we'll fiercely debate the day's most relevant issues.
And we will also showcase gear, interview big names, names that should be big, and have fun at our own expense.
But what we want to say is we think that this show will be so much more than that. We want this to be fun, funny, and maybe just a little bit insightful. We want this big table to include all of you watching, our fellow adventurers in the outdoors.
I'm Zoë Rom. Here's a little clip of me running in my favorite place in the San Juan Mountains of Colorado. I'm a journalist, author, ultra runner, and a comedian. I like to run really long distances, like 50 to maybe 100 miles at a time.
I'm Maureen Beck. I'm a world champion rock climber, an ice climber, a fly fisherman, a lover of all things dogs and whiskey. But yeah, if I had to pick one thing, I'm probably most known for life in the vertical of climbing. But on top of that, I would call myself a fierce advocate for getting people with disabilities, like myself, out doing what I love most, whether outdoors or inside, and that's climbing.
And I'm Noah Collins. I'm a physiologist, a sponsored bike racer, and an advocate to get anybody on bikes that wants to be on bikes. I'm also a business owner, a lover of anything in the mountains, and you will never find me out in the mountains in these winter months without my battery-powered gloves.
Nice. So we thought it would be fun to get to know our host with a little bit of round-robin Q&A. So Mo, tell me, what is the absolute least outdoorsy thing about you?
Okay, so there's actually a lot of not that outdoorsy things about me. I am human, after all. But I think what can kind of tell you more about me is the worst injury I've ever had was a severe case of wrist tendonitis. And that's like, makes sense, right? Mo, you're a rock climber. Of course you'd injure your wrist. But I got it from knitting too fast and furiously. Some Christmas presents a couple years ago. So knit with caution, take breaks, and stretch often.
Yeah, I can relate. I actually pulled a finger riding this year, so I know how it goes. I would say the least outdoorsy thing about me is even though I'm really competitive in the outdoors, I'm pretty competitive inside too. And I am a reading streaker. I like to read for as many days in a row as possible to keep the habit going.
What's your count right now?
I'm at 32 days of reading for at least a little bit every single day.
Wow.
My Kindle keeps track. It emails me a digest of how much I'm reading. So that's how I like to get competitive inside.
Dang.
It's a Fitbit for your brain.
Yeah.
Fitbook. Okay, awesome. Well, the least outdoorsy thing about me that not many people know is that I am an RC helicopter fan. I love RC helicopters, like the real ones where...
Like a mini helicopter.
It's mini, but it has all the same mechanics as a real helicopter. So they're about this big. The transmitters are huge. You have a bunch of buttons you have to learn to push at the right times and all that. Super fun, extremely hard to fly. A lot of people ask me, well, why don't you do drones? Drones are too easy. I don't like easy things. I love things that make my brain focus and have to work a little bit harder.
I didn't know we had a micropilot in our midst.
Yeah.
Seriously.
The other thing I have to ask you guys, if you could medal at any Olympic sport, any Olympic thing that you get a medal for, what would it be?
Bar trivia. I have a ton of random knowledge and I love a good beer. So anything that combines an absolute excess of knowledge and just a little bit of drinking, I am amazing at. Bar trivia would absolutely be my gold medal.
All right, Noah, your least outdoorsy Olympic medal?
Driving a stick shift.
Whoa.
Not many people can drive a stick shift these days, and I am a perfectionist. One, when it comes to my penmanship. Two, when it comes to driving a stick shift. So I feel like I would dominate that.
That checks out, yeah.
Okay, well, in addition to all my other non-outdoorsy hobbies, I am a ardent chicken keeper. I'm a chicken advocate. I'm a chicken evangelist. I think everybody should have backyard chickens. And so if there were to be an Olympic medal for random chicken knowledge, like I'm kind of considering getting to show chickens in the next phase of my career.
Wow.
I think I'd be a candidate for at least a bronze, maybe silver, reach for gold.
In chickenry?
In chickenry, yeah.
Give us some facts about chickens then.
Okay, so chickens lay eggs based on how long the days are, not how hot or cold, how much daylight they get. So you can trick them into laying more throughout the winter if you put supplemental lighting in their coop. Did you know that chickens will lay eggs even if there's not a rooster?
Huh.
I did know that.
There you go.
You don't need to collect them all.
No, you're good. You're good to go. And I could keep going, but my favorite kind of chicken is a speckled Sussex.
Oh, do you have one?
I do. Her name is Sussy. She's sassy.
Oh, cute.
Well, we have one more question to go through for me. What's the worst piece of outdoor advice you've ever been given?
Oh, so as you know, I grew up in Colorado, and with my school, we would go to Granby to snowboard. We would start in seventh grade. So my first time snowboarding, went to Granby, snowboarded for the first time, got talked into doing the double black diamond. And at the time, like as a kid, you don't know the names, you don't understand those names. I realized at the end of that run, after I yard sailed about 15 times, it was called the Widowmaker.
Oh, that'll do it.
And I finally understood why it was called the Widowmaker.
Checks
Worst
out.
advice I'd ever received.
Zoe, quick hit. Worst advice.
Save weight by leaving snacks at home. That is never the call. Always bring extra snacks.
Similarly, I got talked into saving weight in a week-long backpacking trip by bringing one pair of underwear, and that is not the way to
Always
save
bring
weight.
underwear. Always bring snacks.
Well, that was way too short, but good news is we'll have a lot more get to know you time in the coming weeks, as well as hot tips on how to avoid mistakes like only bringing one pair of underwear. Stay tuned, and we'll talk more when we get back.